Welcome back, everyone. This is Practical IT. We are going to continue on React.js loop rendering. On the previous one, we have seen a very simple example of listing a given array, which is going to be this one as an example. And then we have used the map function to show the output in such a manner. This is just to show on how we're going to be rendering. Otherwise, apart from that one, this might not have like as such much of like the practical usage. So on this one, we're going to take a look on how we can implement things that we're going to be given in an array and then are going to be just much more useful, like the one we're going to see over here. For example, we have like the PHP, the Java, and the Ruby, which are going to be showing like the checkbox over here. But if you take a look on how we accomplish that one, we have hard-coded those values over here. And that's not a good way of doing it, as we know, because if we end up adding additional value over here, let's say we're reading it from the database or the API is giving us, and then let me say I'm adding one more additional language on this one, and then let's add like C# or C only, and then let me have like a false. Then if I go back, then, like we're not going to have like that C which is added on the top because we have to manually add the C over here as well to work. And in that case, if we are going to be having like 100 of them, then it looks like we have to have like all 100 of them over here, and that's not scaling. So how do we do those kinds of things? And the way how we do that one is pretty much the same as this one. So let's go ahead and then just do that. Like the value that we're going to be just getting could be coming in the form of like this one, which is an object, or it could be an array of object, or it could be just simply an array just like this one. If it is an object, like the way we are having it over here, then we have a built-in function which would convert the keys into an array, and that's going to be just object.keys. So if we do that one, and we're going to get like all the values of the keys as an array. So let's do that one. And before that, let's do a little bit of a cleanup over here. What I wanted to do is just to get rid of this one. And I'm going to keep PHP just for the sake of reference. Otherwise, we're going to get rid of that one as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to have object.keys, and we're going to have like this dot state dot language. So what this would do is it's going to give us like an array of the language keys. So from there, then we're going to do the mapping, and we're going to pass, let's say, lang, and we're going to do over here. So it's going to be just right here that we're going to be just putting the one that we want to appear again and again. So I'm going to X that out, and I'm going to paste that. Probably this might require a bit of adjustment. All right, so we're going to do the return over here, and it's not happy with this one. Let's see, this one is coming from here. This one is coming from here. All right, and let's make it just this way so that we can see it like clearly. On probably the problem is this one might need like, let's buy a span, so that it's not going to be just immediately accessible with that, and span. All right, and on this one, what we need is just the language, which is going to be a lang over here. That's the one we are getting it. So the checkbox is going to be as it is, language is going to be just as it is, value is going to be just changed though into a lang, because that's going to be converted, that's going to be just read from the value that we are getting from this one. And this state that language that PHP is not going to be needed over here. Rather, it has to be like the language that we are getting from there. And we're going to change that one into this one, and we're going to say lang. Okay, so this is pretty much all we need to do. And the thing that I've done over here is on the return, we need to have like everything in one element. Sometimes, like if you don't want to add like anything in there, you can add it this way as well. This is also fine. but you cannot just leave 2 or more elements outside of like the return. That's going to make it like a little bit angry. So you need to have it either an empty placeholder just like this one to make it happy, or you can provide like a known element just like you know, like the one that I have used earlier. So the whole idea is just to make it like all the return in one element, under one element. After you have like that element, you can do whatever you want inside this one, but the whole idea is just to have everything in one. So if we go back, then you can see that it is automatically adding the C. As you can see, while we are doing this one, it would read all the values that we are going to be just getting from here, and then it's going to show on this one automatically, and then all the rest of the things would remain the same. So if we end up like adding additional value, like over here, like another kind of programming language, let's say basic, and if we say false, then it's going to automatically add it over here, and we have like a PHP, we have a Java, we have Ruby, and all that stuff. And as you can see that we have reduced like a much greater area of like the lines of code by just utilizing this one only. In the earlier, we had to have like one for each, and that was taking like a lot of time. And also by now, it's going to be just much more easier. Let's say if we want to switch from, you know, just making like the PHP in front to that of like the back, and then just making like the checkbox on the front, then we're going to do it like on one place only. So all I have to do is just to X this out and just to add it right here. Then it's going to be on the, you know, just the checkbox for the PHP is going to be in front of it. Or if I want to add like any of like the CSS, then whatever I'm doing like for one of them, then it's going to perform, or it's going to be just applicable for every other stuff. Now on the next one, we're going to even make it much more better by taking this one out and then making it on its own component. So just a reminder to reiterate like on what we have started, components, it is better to make it like in a functional basis. You know, just we don't want to have like too much of like the logic or too much of the feature in one component only. Rather, we want to have like a couple more components and then pass them around or switch to them or add them as a child as needed. And on this one, it is okay just to have it on this one. It's not much better. What if like we're going to be just needing this very requirement on another place? So, you know, just all we have to do would be just to pass some of the parameters, and then the component would be responsible for checking out of all this thing and then just returning it to us. So we're going to do it like we're going to have like the input box, which is going to be on its own component, which is possible. And then we're going to pass like the values as needed to it. As you can see, like it has like a couple of parameters over here, and we're going to pass that parameters. And in that case, it's going to build that one and then return to us. And that would explain more about like when the props are going to be useful and the way how we're going to be just handling independent components when we are using on a larger kind of project. All right, so that's all for this video. Like if you like it, just don't forget to smash the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do so. And I'll see you on the next video.